Thanks for downloading the Swearing In Podcast, where you'll hear the origin stories of those who chose to serve. So ground your gear, take a seat, and listen up. The Swearing In Podcast starts right now. Hello and welcome to the Swearing In Podcast. I am your host, Marty Smith, and today I'm proud to present part 2 of the interview with former Army Sergeant Joe Guagno. Don't really need to do a lot of preamble for this, so let's just get to it. Here is part 2, the interview with Sergeant Joe Guagno.
See, and the difference again between, let's say, World War II and Korea is you had a line. Okay, here's the good guys, here's the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
So today, guys, we're going to fight, and we're up to this line here. So this is our territory.
Right.
Tomorrow we're going to fight, and we're going to go this further.
Yeah.
This is our territory. And then now, today you're going to fight here. And depending on how long the battle lasts, a day, 2 days, a week, whatever it is, you know, pick up your dead, mop up the dead, whatever. Get in your chopper, and let's go over here and fight.
It was
now,
never about
3 weeks later,
ground,
let's go back over here because they built up again.
Right.
So you started to ask yourself, well, what are you kidding me or what?
It was never really about
Never about the
holding ground,
turf.
right?
Never.
It's crazy.
It was make-believe get the turf.
Get the turf for a time,
Yes.
right? Almost every big battle over there that we fought, we abandoned it.
Yeah.
I was watching that documentary about Quezon. That was almost 3 months.
Well, I was just going to bring up the Marines. The Marines had a couple of, I forget how, maybe 3 bases up that way, near the DMZ. At any rate, the Marines held, here's their base camp, here's the DMZ. Okay. So they're on a DMZ, they're in their base camp, here's the DMZ. So they do their patrols around their base camp, you know, for recon and so on. But they don't go out on any real big missions. They are homebodies.
Is that because they wanted to stay around those fire bases?
Yes.
Because they were all sprinkled up there in the north, right?
We, on the other hand, the infantry, had to go from over here to over here. Or Marines say there's a buildup. Okay, we'll go check it out. Okay, so that was what we did.
While the Marines stayed there.
Not taking anything away from them because
I know. It was a different
their asses were on the line.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really constantly get assaulted until the big assault.
Sure.
And their fire base or where their base camp was a piss poor location.
Really?
I don't know who the hell ever fucking thought of that. In any battle, you want the high ground. It's imperative.
Of course.
Okay? I can take, and this is proven time and time again, we could go out even company strength, 130 men, let's say, 100 men. And they say, okay, we need to get to the top of that hill, right? You could spend all day trying to get to the top of that hill and take 100 casualties. Mm-hmm. And when you get there, you find out that there were 10 guys. Okay, because they got the high ground, they're shooting downhill,
Sure.
They're rolling grenades down, they don't even have to throw, they don't have to do anything. Just stay where they are and give bursts every now and then. You're a dead man, you have no cover, you can't hide.
Right. And you're not, the defenders aren't expelling any energy.
And
you could stay up there all day.
If you were out of artillery range, and we were many times, we were out of artillery range more than we were in. Okay, so if you were out of artillery range, anything was it past 20 miles? I think it was.
I think that's about right.
Sorry about that.
Well, the Air Force will take care of that, right?
You call for an airstrike, and there's crap going on where they're already, the birds are already going to different operations, okay? You take your turn.
if they have the ordnance after they did whatever they were doing before. Being air mobile, did you have a complement of gunships with you, or were your transports fitted?
No, all the we call them slicks.
Slicks meant no weapons on it.
Well, just the two M60s.
Okay.
Those were mandatory. So you had two M60s and a gunner on each gun on the 60s, and then you had us. So if you're coming into a hot LZ, let's say, they're firing the 60s, you know, like boom, 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 right? Not necessarily at anything, just into the bush, into the trees, whatever it is. The guy sitting, the way you loaded the chopper, you had like 4 or 5 guys, I forget, across on the bench seat, like.
Okay.
And then I always took a door seat with legs hanging out.
Oh, yeah?
I wanted to, you know, we're coming into a hot LZ. If I got to jump from 15 feet, I will do that.
Sure.
Okay? I want to be added as bird. So, at any rate, the guys sitting in the open doorways, again, 2 on each side. So, an M60, I had my M79 and/or M16, and another guy with an M16.
And you're all trained on whatever's out there, ready to fire.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
You know, it's, and especially like a 79 was cool because you come into it, if you're overhead and you're coming into heavy stuff, heavy foliage, you don't know where the shots are coming from.
Yeah.
You can't even see muzzle blasts. Okay, so
yeah.
you can, I think it sounds like it came from over there. Now, it sounds like it came from over there. You take your weapon and go bang, 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 bang. Your odds are 1,000,000 to 1 that you shot anything. Okay, with me, when I put a round out there, anything within 15 feet of where that round hit is dead. You know, anything within 20 feet is wounded, dead or wounded. So you put a couple of rounds out there with a 79, and that hot LZ all of a sudden becomes cool. Not cold, but cool.
Sure. Did you fast rope? Did you
Only
rappel out
twice.
of this? Oh, really?
Only twice did we have to.
Really? Was that going into
Yes.
the canopy?
Yeah.
God, that triple canopy, I can't imagine.
Well, that's why they used dioxin on the foliage.
The foliage.
Yeah, the Agent Orange. And us, yes. You know, well, yeah, it'll defoliate all the foliage, and it'll also poison the water and any humans that come in contact with it. But that's all right. Do it.
You said, I know you did a lot in Coochie, but you never really were in a base camp.
Well,
right?
Coochie was our base camp. That's where our base camp was.
Oh, okay. But you never spent much time in a base camp.
The problem, yeah, exactly. My time in the NOM, which was when they were doing the build-up, when Johnson was doing that build-up.
Right. Now, you got there in 66?
66, 67 is my tour.
Okay.
So it was either March or April of 66 is when I got
Yeah,
there.
and that was the build-up,
build-up.
towards the 500,000 or
Yeah.
whatever they eventually got to.
So here's the base camp, and after we dug out, we had to build our own bunkers and so on. And it's funny, we're all loading sandbags and building bunkers and bitching about it.
Yeah.
You know, 120 degrees heat, and, you know, humidity 100%. That swamp I told you about, smelling like you couldn't breathe.
That's right.
Okay, and every now and then you and we
Really?
stopped like, what the hell is that? You know, thought maybe it was mosquitoes or something. We didn't know. And one of the NCOs, who was a Korean vet, he says, "You idiots, you're being shot at."
That's
I said, "You shit me?" He says, "Yeah, don't worry about it." He said, it's so far away, you know, that all you're hearing is like, it was done without any accuracy. I mean, you couldn't hear the gun. You couldn't hear a weapon go off.
That's how far away.
That's how far away it was.
So they're just right at the end of their...
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
my
just
goodness.
Yeah, it's funny.
45 days without a shower?
Was the longest. Was the longest. A shower, clean clothes. Sometimes you ran out of water.
How'd you keep your feet from dry rotting?
And your feet were always wet.
Yeah.
You didn't even dare take your boots off when you were out there.
Really?
You never knew when you had to put them back on. And then you had snakes and centipedes, and everything out there was poisonous.
You said that swamp that you had to wade through, you would come out with leeches.
Oh. Wholesale.
That's that fast. That's what
You
is
just had to
amazing.
enter. That swamp was probably from this railing to my TV.
Oh, jeez.
Okay?
20 feet, 30 feet, maybe?
Thick as, I mean, you could cut the swamp with a knife. It's so disgusting. It like rotting jungle and feces, and so you put it all together, and it was just a sewer pit. And you went from this side to that side, and you came in, you had leeches all over you.
God,
and
I can't believe that.
everybody
fast.
had, you took your shirt off, and the guy behind you was pulling them off your back, and you're pulling the guy in front of you.
Did you maintain anybody you knew all the way from basic through Alaska all the way to Vietnam? Mm-hmm. Did you have some good friends that were?
Yeah.
What'd you guys do to make each other laugh? Or did you just laugh?
You laughed every day at whatever. I mean, it was
Did you have pranks?
on the way over.
Did you have any pranksters that you knew?
Any what?
Any pranksters? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There? Oh, yeah. Big
I mean,
time.
you're Brooklyn boys, right? Or New York guys, right?
New York, largely, yes. But on the way over, I remember the closer we got to the Nam, once we left Hawaii, the closer we got to the Nam, I'm looking out into the ocean and saying to myself, I wonder if I'll ever laugh for the next year.
Oh.
And I wonder if I'm going to live. I mean, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's happening.
That downtime's got to drive you crazy.
Yeah, definitely. And so once you get there and you're scared when you first get there, we called it shaky. Everybody's shaky. So after you're there a couple of days, a week, whatever,
Yeah.
you feel like, okay, so what? After you're there a month, it's like being home.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Now
and
you're
so
used to it.
you start screwing with each other, or throwing a grenade, yell grenade, throw a grenade out into a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
And you see, everybody, oh shit, everybody running which ways.
God.
Used to carry C4, and I always carried a block,
Yeah.
but not for explosives. I used to cook with it.
Really? No sterno available. You just
Take
What-
it.
what
Don't
did-
forget, we used to have, all we had were sea rats. We didn't have any MREs.
right.
So it was nothing but a can of crap.
It just steady burn.
Well, it was a fast, hot, really hot burn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could take your canteen cup, fill it half with water, and to make coffee or Coke or whatever.
Yeah.
Take off a little ball of C4, roll it up in your hand, light it up. And by the time it went out, that was hot.
Really?
And we had a couple of guys that had it. They couldn't go on, didn't want to go on.
Sure.
And used to take, two guys did this. One guy shot himself in the foot, but
Ah,
two guys took blasting caps from claymores,
yeah.
held it in the hand, hit him, lost some fingers
But just to get out of there.
to get out. But they were sent back to do bad time. Military encampment, prison, for I don't know how long, and then they were discharged with a dishonorable. So
Really?
it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. You're not just getting out.
Yeah, you're getting out, but you're
You're going to jail first.
You're screwed. There's that scene in Platoon where he's examining that guy's feet.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He says,
yeah.
"Next time I catch you putting bug juice on your feet." Mm-hmm. Would that make it so you couldn't walk?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It would. Yeah. Just imagine your foot in a pail of water for a couple of days.
Yeah.
You take your foot out and it's all, the bottom of your foot is all like white and all lines and, shriveled.
Sure.
That's what bug juice would do to your feet.
Oh, it would.
Yeah.
I guess those guys think of all the things, right?
So you carried an M79, 45, and an M16.
And a 16.
Did you qualify with a 14 at basic?
Basic and AIT were M14s and the M14 A2s, which were the autos.
Oh, okay.
And so we were given those to test, and it had a suppressor.
Still that 5-round clip that you pushed in for the...
We never used that.
Oh, that was the M1s,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
M14 had a magazine.
Magazine, box
Okay.
mag,
Sorry.
20-round mag. Those are 30, and it was a 308. Yeah, so we trained on them, and that's my qualification. In basic and AIT, we're on the 14s. Then when we were going to NAM, when they told us, "Sorry, you guys are going over the big pond," they issued us the M16s, and then I was given the grenade launcher.
So they gave you the M16 in Hawaii.
Yeah,
First time you ever seen it.
yeah, and we had to train on them and qualify with them,
Yeah.
of course. But yeah, that's the first time we ever saw them. Was in Hawaii.
Did you shoot expert at basic?
M14 and
Yeah.
M14.
Yeah.
I'm gonna brag.
Yeah.
With the M14, I came in second or third in my battalion.
Wow. I thought you were going to say company, but you said battalion.
No, battalion. And with the M60 machine gun,
Yeah.
I tied for second with
Really?
somebody.
That's not
And
an
that's-
easy... I know that's not an easy qualification.
Here's a bullet. Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Here's a bullet. Took me 2 shots. This is the first shot. You see that little nick?
Yeah.
That's the first shot. And I adjusted my sights. That's the second shot.
Ah.
That's with a 7mm Magnum.
Now we're looking at a quarter, and you can see a little half moon out of it for the first shot, and then a nice solid hole where you adjusted onto that thing. And they let you... How did you put that out there to shoot at it, and they let you keep it? That's great.
Scotch tape, baby. Scotch tape's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, M60 qual is not easy. Yeah, that's a tough one. Little bursts.
And the way, like, whenever you watch any of these movies on TV, guys with the machine guns, they're laying down, and they're in a prone, and the gun and the barrel is always tilted up slightly. You ever notice that? Well, do you know what that little slight tilt, even it's a 1 degree tilt,
Sure.
okay, out at 100 yards, do you know what that is?
That's gotta
You
be
might as well
big.
be shooting the airplanes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so when I used to try and train people, in the NAM I had to give, I don't know if I told you that. In NAM I had to give courses on tunnel search.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I told you it was a rat for 3
I
months.
was going to go into that, yeah.
Okay, yes. So any new guys coming in, I had to give them a talk on searching tunnels, what to look for, how to do it, blah, 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 blah. When you should go in, when you shouldn't go in. And any of the guys with machine guns, I used to tell them, look, this is how I qualified with the gun. I don't know what your qualification is, but respect my stripes. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
okay, when you're using that gun, this is how I want you to shoot. Not this way. All right, because they got the butt is down on the ground, okay, and then they got their face on the stock looking through a sight, and instead of the gun, the
Yeah, you
butt
gotta
being
lift up,
elevated
right?
slightly,
Right.
they got it down on the ground, and they're shooting. So if in the jungle you could be shooting at 20, 30 feet,
Right.
okay, and that's the enemy is that close, even closer sometimes. So even at that rate, maybe you're shooting head high, but he's not standing up. He's in a freaking hole, a tunnel, a trench,
Yeah.
or he's laying down flat.
Yeah.
What are you shooting?
Air.
You're making a lot of noise and you think you're doing something. You didn't do shit.
Right.
Wasted a lot of ammunition and there's no blood trails.
Huh. So you going back into that, Cu-Chi had that huge, we know now, had that huge tunnel complex underneath it.
Tunnels of Cu-Chi, read the book.
That's right. That's right. And you volunteered to be a tunnel rat.
Actually, no.
Or you were voluntold?
I was voluntold the first time. Hey, go in there and see what's in there. Okay, I'm, stupid jerk. Maybe I'll come out with a sword or a gun,
That's
whatever.
right.
Okay. Memorabilia. And I went in and went as far as I was going to go and came out. No, I didn't see anything up to this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I start coming up on holes. Hey,
now we just
Guagno,
kept
hey,
going back
Guagno. And I'm running here, running over here. Whoa, guys.
You got other people.
So I did this. Well, I was all of 134 pounds
Yeah.
when I was there.
Yeah.
So, and they were 100 pounds. So I just like fit, tight fit, but I managed to get into the holes. That's why they called on me.
God. No little bit of claustrophobia or nothing going through that sucker?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
I would do it now.
Yeah.
Now I've had MRIs done, laying down
Sure.
and I tell them, I used to do this like in Vietnam. I was a tunnel rat for a while. I'm not happy about being in this tunnel.
Yeah.
And they told me, well, you get a little anxious, just tap out.
Yeah,
Okay.
they always say that. Yeah. Well, jeez. So, what'd you do that for? A couple months? Enough to where you could teach other people to do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I did teach other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first thing I would, after the class, I would go like this, make sure like a company commander or somebody wasn't standing around,
Yeah.
and tell them, best bet, don't go in.
Sure.
Take smoke or a grenade, throw it in the hole, and if you throw smoke in, because there were multiple entrances and exits to one tunnel.
Would it waft enough
Oh,
you
yeah.
could see the other?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I say, now, just take a look. Oh, look at that. 50 yards down, throw purple smoke in or whatever.
Yeah.
50 yards down the road there, Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. I suppose if we were here at our house, we would probably build something like that if we needed to.
You ever been in New York?
Sure.
You ever been in a subway system?
Briefly, yeah.
Okay, well, they said the tunnel system in the Nam was the equivalent of a New York City subway system.
God. Didn't they have portions of Ho Chi Minh Trail that were underground and big enough
Sure.
for trucks?
Yeah. They had hospitals underground, R&R centers underground.
I suppose when you get a rifle on your back told to dig, you can do wonders.
Well, they put everybody to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kids, women,
Yeah.
whatever. Everybody was part of the war effort.
Well, when that country has known war for as long as it has,
They started digging when the Chinese were there, then the Japanese,
yeah,
then the French,
that's right.
and then the Americans.
You went over, your tours were 12 months, right? Mm-hmm. The documentary was talking about 13-month tours.
Marines.
Oh, Marines were 13 months. Yeah.
Why? Why were the Marines
I don't
13
know.
months? Because they had to be different from the Army. They had to be one up.
Oh, so the generals can do the arm
So
flexing.
any of the Marines in any of the groups that I belonged to back east,
Yeah.
social clubs and so on,
Yeah.
we had members of every.
Would they brag about that? We didn't.
I was a Marine. And you were a Marine? Well, you never wore around any shoe leather in Nam, did you? Because they used to stay in the freaking base camps. I said, you saw two women out there rubbing two sticks together. Yeah, here we come, here mobile.
Yeah.
Come and check it out.
Good. I hope.
I can go on forever with that shit.
Good. I hope I can find a Marine to interview here, and he can counter you back. So
They had it rough, especially in White
Absolutely.
City.
yeah, Way City was.
They had it rough. I'm not saying they had it easy.
Well, they retook that son of a bitch. So
Yes.
Good on them.
Yeah. They had it tough.
Well, all y'all did. Sure,
Nobody had it easy. Nobody
had it easy.
Because
That's a good, better
even
way.
a cook who came out, if we were out in a forward area, and they said, okay, you've been here 5 days without any real food, so we're going to give you hot chow today. So they come out with the canisters, with hot chow.
Yeah.
And so you get, the snipers open up, or you get hit, they hit your wire, or mortared, or whatever. Cooks are out there.
Yeah.
Cooks died.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, nobody
So who had it easy?
had it easy. Over there.
That's why I tell everybody, I don't care what your MOS was. It's irrelevant to me.
You were in country.
You wore a uniform. You were boots on the ground, whether peacetime or not. What was it, Fort Hood, with all those guys got killed?
Yes.
Okay?
The fascinating thing about Vietnam is there's no rear echelon to Vietnam. I mean, they front because okay, maybe the NVA sort of had some positions that you knew about, but the Viet Cong didn't. They were within the city. They were within the villages. They were
They had
from the coast
strongholds.
to the borders.
They had strongholds in certain villes. They had strongholds in the Iron Triangle. Was a biggie. And when you went in to try and find them, they went down into their tunnels and wound up in Cambodia.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the conditions were terrible.
Yes.
To mount any kind of tactical war, just terrible. And it doesn't seem like we learned many lessons
No.
that have applied to Afghanistan
No.
either. So, but
it's impossible. It's impossible to win a war like that because it's a war of attrition. And if you have 20 guys and they got 30, they win.
yeah. When in your tour did you start feeling short, or did you allow yourself to start feeling short? I know it's kind of like a feeling you don't want to think about, right? Because the more you think
When I
about it,
had-
the more anxious you're going to
When
get.
I had like 60 days left,
Okay.
I started to make my short timer stick.
What's the short timer stick? I never heard of the short timer. stick,
Really?
Right?
Okay.
Is that where you're just counting the days off?
Yeah, and we would take a stick, whittle it out, make a, like that.
Okay, like a walking stick.
Like a walking stick.
Yeah.
And you had notches on it for days. So mine had 60
Yeah.
for days. Every day that went by, and at the end of that day I was alive, take my K-bar and hack off that day.
Okay.
So a short timer stick kept getting shorter
Oh, I see.
until you got nothing left.
But you got down to what, 11 or 30 days out?
Yeah.
And that was the ambush on the ambush, right? So you were saying that what were they running in the sampans, right? Was it NVA?
They were NVA and Kong.
Okay.
NVA and Kong worked together in a lot of areas. Okay, as far as like, what's the word I want to use? Munitions and such. Anyway, you had the NVA come down to a certain point, and then the Viet Cong from the local villes
Yeah.
would come in and take it. Because the
Oh,
closer
okay,
you got,
sure.
closer you got south, closer you kept getting to Saigon, for instance, you couldn't be wearing a uniform. So you had to be a VC. You couldn't be an NVA.
Okay.
Stick out like a sore thumb.
Sure.
So they worked in conjunction. But they were running munitions and food.
That's what they were running in the
sampans.
Okay.
And so they got word, and probably from one of the South Vietnamese soldiers, the Yarvins. We hated them. The only ones we half respected were the ones in the Tiger fatigues, because they were supposed special forces.
Oh, okay.
So if we were told that we had to go out with a contingent of Tigers, all right.
That documentary I watched about the Marine captain on that bridge, who had worked with the ARVN counterpart, and it's funny that you say that and you would think it was just the movie, but they were all in the Tiger Stripe, and so that was a distinguishing thing for them.
Yes.
So they were at least more competent, or at least willing to fight.
Willing to fight and would fight.
Yeah.
They wouldn't run.
Yeah.
We wouldn't run.
Sure.
And I'm not just saying that about an American. And I don't know about the other wars because I wasn't there to witness it. I witnessed it. I do know that in World War I and in World War II, hundreds of thousands of prisoners were taken on both ends, the good guys and the bad guys.
Okay.
Okay? And depending on whose side you were on, you were a good guy or a bad guy. In Vietnam, there were never any surrenders. Think about that for a second. You know you're going to be overrun. I mean, they're hitting your wire or they're hitting your position, okay? And it could have been 100 of them. For that matter, it could have been 1,000,000 of them. It didn't matter. Mm-hmm. You know, if it's you and 5 guys or 10 guys or 30 guys, you know, and you're getting hit with hundreds or thousands, okay? You know it's not going to turn out well. But you didn't pick up your shit and run. You held your position. You were all brothers. You held your position and you fought. And that's where I will tip my hat off to any Vietnam veteran, because he stood there and took the shit.
Yeah. Yeah, under overwhelming odds.
You may have crapped your pants. You didn't move.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell the guy next to you, you know, hey, I'm scared, I'm scared. It was not like that at all. And I swear to God, I swear on Jesus.
Yeah.
We never picked up and ran.
That's
And never put our hands up. Hey, I'm out of ammo. Out of ammo? Use your knife.
Yeah.
You got a bayonet? Use it. You know what they're going to do to you when they get you, right? Yes.
So they were running food, ammo,
Food, ammo,
all through that sand pit.
grenades.
You guys
Yeah.
found out about it. You were going to ambush them. They found out you were going to ambush them. They floated their empty boats back.
Yeah, they didn't know where.
Okay.
Okay, they didn't know where
They were
we
kinda
were going to
fishing
be.
for you guys.
Yeah, so they're in a jungle, right off the bank. Okay, and they're walking along with the sandpans, but we don't know they're there. Of course, you know they're hidden.
Yeah.
And so it comes to this open area where we're going to hit them.
Huh.
And so, okay. And they hit us just as we were going to open up on them. They got us.
No
they
kidding.
opened up on us.
Wow.
Yeah,
Clever.
they were smart people, and they knew their own backyard. You know, I mean, what chance if your house is all booby trapped? What chance do I have to come to your house and try to take you out? Not a
great chance.
Not a great chance. Okay, and that's how it was for us.
Yeah.
We were always in their backyard.
Yeah. Yeah, they would always have the upper hand of terrain, timing. So you're in this firefight. Your back is up against a tree, right?
Actually, my side.
Or your left side.
My
was
left, yeah.
Leaned up against a tree, firing your M79.
Yep, firing a 79 at that point, trying to sink these boats, these sampans.
Yeah.
And then some of them came out of the wood line, and you know, guys with the RPGs and such to get clear shots. Opened up with machine gun fire, you know, the whole battle baloney. And when the one that got me, again, my side was to the tree. If I had been in front of that tree, it would have gotten my whole left side from head to toe. But the tree took the hit. And it was just out of kill range for me.
Okay.
So I would have, unless it had hit me in the head somewhere,
Yeah.
I would have survived more of the blast. But the tree took the blast
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So it was only a few minutes after that everything stopped for a while. And that's when I put my back to the tree.
Firing stopped for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just slid down the tree.
Yeah.
and took my canteen over my head, the wound, a drink. 2 medics came to me because the guys to my left, and there were 3 of them. There were 3 of them that were killed
From that RPG.
from the RPG round.
Wow.
And so, I mean, you can see they were dead, obviously.
Yeah.
So they didn't spend time there. Just took a tag. And then they came over to me and, started working on me.
You initially thought you may have pinched your hand in that
With the
79,
sights.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, with the way the sights were squared,
Big
had
square sights, right?
an iron base,
Uh-huh.
okay, wrapped around the barrel, and it was like this. Here, the barrel goes through this pack, right?
Yeah.
But this is how it looked. So when you held it, this is what would always happen to you.
Yeah.
So I thought, here we go.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize it. And you never realize it unless you got unless you really got hit.
Okay.
Okay? I didn't realize it. So I'm loading this between my 2nd and 3rd round. So break it open, pull a round out, throw another one in, close it up, and I look down. And the first thing I see is blood come out of little holes. I laugh because it
unusual.
reminds me of a garden hose. I tell you,
Yeah, right.
But I look down at my hand, and I'm looking at this gaping hole and bone,
God.
and I'm not seeing any blood.
Huh.
And as soon as it dawned on me that I had been hit,
Yeah. Oh, then it started.
yeah, I mean, it was just
It was
unbelievable.
Just waiting for you to notice.
I guess.
Interesting.
I have no understanding of that.
Wow.
No understanding of that at all.
But then once you realize it was like, okay, I can bleed now. And bleed
and,
it did, huh?
And it did, and that's when, like I slid myself down the tree, and I'm saying to myself, like, don't go into shock. You're not hurt bad. A lot of guys will get like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
when you see it's your own blood, So I'm trying to like tell myself this, it's a scratch. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, so they got you. They got you out of there. Where'd they take you?
25th Med Battalion,
Just back, a couple kilometers.
back
or
to our base camp.
something? Yeah.
And from there, they flew me down to Saigon,
Okay.
to the big hospital down there, and they operated on me there.
Couldn't get the shrapnel out right away, right?
They got the shrapnel out of up here, and the piece that was in my back, but they couldn't get the one out of my hand out, and so they had to let it heal,
Yeah.
and I had to go back a month later,
Oh.
and that's the only reason I got CQ, is because I couldn't hold a weapon.
Yeah. You were one-handed at that
Right.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Play any ping pong when you were back there recovering? Isn't that what they always say y'all do? Go back and play ping pong?
We didn't have ping pong. We didn't have shit.
Really?
We had nothing.
Huh.
An EM club and an officers club. They had an officers club first. That was toward the end of my tour, and still had no EM club.
But you still weren't old enough to drink.
No. But in the NOM, it didn't matter.
Okay. Okay.
Back here in the States, you had to be 18
Yeah, right.
to vote and 18 to drink. No, you had to be 21.
21
I'm
to
sorry.
vote, right?
You had to be 21 to drink and 21 to vote.
Yeah.
Or yeah, because when I came back, a friend of mine, Phil Ferrara, was still there in country. His family owned Ferrara Pastries, real famous in the New York area.
Okay.
So me and another one of the vets went to see his family. Hey, Phil's doing all right, and blah blah blah. And Phil's brother said, "Come on, I want to buy you a drink over here." The local.
Yeah.
I looked at him. I said, "Sorry, I can't drink. I'm too young."
And did you, when you got out, when did you get out? 67?
Mm-hmm.
Had you turned 21 yet?
No.
So your whole time from signing up at 17,
I was 20 years old when I got out.
and you did
After
your whole
3
hits
years.
all before 21. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Unbelievable. Golly. That's amazing. But it was back then when that captain wanted to extend you, right?
Oh, yeah, Captain Torchiano.
Torchiano, right?
Yeah. Him and Lieutenant Wolford, I remember his name. Lieutenant Wolford.
So you turned him down, and then it just your clock rolled over, and it was time to go, and they flew you back.
Well, what they did,
I mean, or did they wait for you after that operation to fly you out of there?
well, out of country, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So because we all went as a division, we couldn't all rotate at the same time. So they took guys who were wounded twice. No, guys who were wounded 3 times. You're first, you're leaving.
Okay.
Guys who were wounded twice, you're leaving.
Yeah.
Guys who were wounded once, that's your turn.
Okay.
Married guys, you're gone. That's how they had to rotate us out that way.
So there's a natural wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 6-month mark was like when we all started to get hit.
Oh, really?
Because the initial bunch of us
Yeah.
were either killed or wounded.
Yeah.
So as they sent replacements in, you didn't have that cohesion anymore.
No.
And they were sending guys right out of AIT.
Yeah, that's tough.
Okay, guys they had nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and I would look at them. Here I am, 18 years old, maybe 19 at that point, looking at these guys older than me, even 19, 20, and, you know, NFGs, man, stay away from me.
Yeah, what you said, average age of Vietnam.
Average age of
19,
Vietnam
right?
was 19 years old. Average age of World War II vet was 26 years old.
That's a significant difference
Big
in your
time.
fighting force. Yeah, significant difference.
All those stats are online, by the way. Anything I will tell you.
It proves to get reminded of those after a while, though. You know, because yeah, everything's online, but who's going to look it up? So somebody listening to us, they can get reminded of it again. So then, when you finally got out of there, where'd they fly you to? Travis? Was it Travis Air Force Base?
Oakland Air Force Base.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I had to make my way. They gave me travel pay from Oakland
Right.
to Monterey.
And that was
So
it.
like $30 or $40 in bus fare.
You want to get back home, right?
And I had to come all the way across country back to New York.
Now, was that after you PCS'd?
No.
Or was that just
I
you
still
were...
had 30
Okay.
days to go. I mean, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I still had 6 months to go.
Oh, all right, all right.
Yeah.
But you did make it back to see your parents.
Yeah, I did.
What was the story about your mom and the liquor in the oven? I can't remember how you got around to that.
When I first got home, I didn't let anybody know I was coming. They figured I was going to be like a month later.
You just took the bus cross country? Oh, you flew?
I flew.
Okay.
I managed to get enough money from. I went standby.
Yeah.
Managed to get a
Oh,
couple
that's
of
right.
bucks from
That's right.
my friend. Hey, you got $5? So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so I got my money. But when I first came home, I told my family, please do not let anybody know I'm home. I need time to adjust. They didn't understand that.
Sure, because everyone
So-
would have flooded you in and
Yeah.
tell me about the war, tell me about this. Yeah.
So the first night I'm home, now I don't have civvies. I'm in my uniform.
Oh,
Okay, and it was a snowstorm. It was April 15th when I got home because there was a freak snowstorm in New York.
yeah.
Okay, and
Were you in your Class Bs or your
No, I was-
khakis or?
I was in Class A's,
Oh, okay.
and they issue us new uniforms at Oakland Air Force Base.
Well, that was nice of them.
So, like when you muster back into the country,
Yeah.
you go through your shit and make sure you don't have any weapons and whatever. And they had Class A uniforms. You know, here, try these on, try those on.
Right, right.
So, I fly back. Well, okay. Fly cross country. Don't let anybody know I'm here, Mom, Dad, nobody, brother, sister. I just need time.
Yeah.
So they go tell my neighbor, who told the other neighbor, told my aunt across the street. Well, you know it. In my house, I got 4 couples, all related, uncles, aunts, that kind of crap.
Right.
And I had to excuse myself from the room that they were in, the living room, and went into the kitchen. I sat at the kitchen table by myself.
Yeah.
I didn't want any part of them, or I didn't want any part of anything right then. So somebody called me in, I don't know who. Hear my name. Come in here. So I go in, and this guy his name was Pete, a neighbor, looked at me and says, "Hey, did you ever kill any of them?"
Which is exactly what you didn't want to hear.
And now I've had people ask me that. Who found out that I was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Did you ever kill anybody? Did you ever kill any women?
Jeez.
You think I'm kidding?
No.
I had one guy ask me if I ever killed a pregnant woman because they counted as 2.
Oh, God. I'm more amazed that somebody would ask that question.
And the
Because I don't know what you
caliber,
get out of that question.
the caliber of the people that would ask me, one should have known better, and the rest were just morons.
Yeah.
Like those kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe they got off on that kind of crap. I don't know. Maybe it was just curiosity, or maybe to look at me and
Yeah.
I don't know why. So his wife, Sarah, sitting next to him, gives him this in the ribs, and I just turned around and went back into the kitchen.
Yeah.
So my old man, not a big drinker, basically beer, but he had liquor in the house. So I sorted out, and for the first couple of days, my mom had made some grub for me, and I couldn't eat it. The food was too rich.
Still.
And so I'm starting to drink. So the second or third day I'm home, I guess she was concerned,
Yeah.
So she hid the liquor in the oven. And my old man the next morning had to get up and go to work, so he's going to get up and make his breakfast. I don't know what he was making in the oven, but toast or whatever. He turns on the oven, and after a few minutes, boom, boom. He runs in there, and the booze, it was vodka and something else in, maybe scotch, blew up in the freaking oven. Shit's on fire. And he's
Really? Got fire.
my mother, oh my God, I had the booze in there hidden from your son. Well, they want that. I didn't have any money. I couldn't go out and buy any.
That's right. That's right. Do you want to tell me the story right before you got out about your AWOL? Or not? Is that not a good story? It sounds like a great story.
No, actually, I went AWOL in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah?
We had to be back on the ship. We had to be back at Schofield.
What period of time was this?
This is before going to Nam.
Oh, okay.
So our jungle training is through. Tomorrow, we're going to Pearl to board the ships.
Okay.
So me and 2 of my friends said, screw them, man, we'll come back. We're going to party all freaking night. We'll be back for Reveille. Well, they took a head count that night.
That night?
And 3 of us were missing.
Oh, no.
So here they are in Oahu, up and down the street in Jeeps, looking for us.
No kidding.
No kidding. And we're dodging them, we're hiding it behind
you could
cars, yeah. And what the hell are we going to do now, man? We get caught now, we're screwed. We got to try and make it back.
Back up to Schofield? Or no, you guys were ready to board the ships, right?
They were ready to board the ship, not us.
Yeah, but I mean, you weren't. You didn't have to make it back to Schofield.
We were in cities. All our gear was in Schofield.
Oh, so you did have to get back up there.
So finally, after about a couple of hours, we started getting nervous.
Yeah.
So all right, let's just give ourselves up.
Oh, okay.
So, one of the guys, I still can't whistle to this day. And guys whistles. They pull in, and there's MPs and our platoon sergeant. All right, get in Jeep. So we stand in front of the old man,
Yeah.
and the old man looks at the three of us. He had no use for one of the guys. One of the guys, his father was a colonel in the Army, or Air Force, I'm sorry, in the Air Force. And he didn't like him. So he just ripped his stripes right off.
Oh, sure.
My friend Howie, he was an E4. They busted him down to E3.
Jeez.
And I was E5.
Oh, okay.
Busted me down to E4. Now I just made E5.
Oh, jeez.
Some of my uniforms didn't even have my stripes on.
Well, that saved you some sewing, I guess.
So here I am. You're an E4, boy. And the reason I don't bust you down further, they liked me, and I was a good soldier.
Yeah.
But, I wanted a party. I was young. He knew it. I was young. I mean, he knew me better than I knew me. And he tolerated me.
Yeah.
He says, leave your corporal. He says, and you're going to have to earn your stripes back. Yes, sir. So that one day, it cost me a stripe. And forget how much money they hit me for. Forget there was a fine involved, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's when I...
Okay.
But so I'm a corporal in Nam when I'm starting to train people on, about the tunnels, giving them, classes about tunnels and the search, and talking to the kids with machine kids. I was 18, talking to these guys about machine guns.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we looked at it. Isn't that funny?
Because your time in makes you old, quote unquote old, but
Yeah. So I got my stripes back,
yeah.
but it took.
Did you get them back while you were over there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They didn't have a choice, really. You start running out of NCOs, and none of them were extending.
They make you a squad leader?
Yeah. So I went from fire team leader when I got busted down to a squad leader. But then it also meant that I had to take out more patrols,
Yeah.
which was really a pain in the ass because it was like if you were out in a fire base, you still had to run patrols. But when you're back in base camp, you're not running patrols. Somebody from your platoon is running a patrol every night.
Yeah.
And they originally went from 17-man patrols down to 11.
Huh.
Basically 2 squads.
Huh.
And they thought that was sufficient. But they wore us ragged. I mean, imagine you humped all day. Now you have a night ambush patrol, so there's no rest.
Oh, jeez.
So now you got to go out there 100% alert. Now the company, where you are, the company is going to catch up with you that morning.
You're like bounding in front of them and that
Yeah.
kind of thing?
So now you catch up to them. And what do you got to do? Now you got to hump with the company.
Oh, jeez.
Now the Army only has to give you 4 hours of sleep
Right.
a day.
Right.
And it can be in 10-minute increments.
Right. It doesn't have to be continuous.
That's correct.
Yep.
And that's exactly how they did it to us. You stayed awake.
Yeah.
To this day, I don't sleep. I don't know if Susan tells you. That's my bed right there, that chair.
Where were you at in San Francisco? Was that your last duty station?
Monterey was. Fort Ord. That was my last duty station.
Oh, it's beautiful, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, being a GI, and they separated us because there was a a basic training and AIT
Oh, okay.
base, and so we were separated from veterans. We're separated from the new recruits, and they kept it that way.
Yeah.
And we were always getting in fights, whatever. And they walk around with, steel on their helmets and peace signs on their hats and shit. And
Right.
we weren't ready for the world yet, and we'd wind up in fights. And they were all draftees, so,
Yeah.
so there was always always something going on. We had the CID in with us because everybody was smoking grass, in our hooches. We were burning incense. And we know you guys are getting high, and yeah. We would refuse to cut our hair.
Oh, yeah. But you were all waiting to get out, right?
Waiting to ETS. And they threatened to cut our hair. They threatened with all kinds of
They
shit.
had no mission for you.
No. And, so basically you're just doing time.
Yeah.
And at one point I got so pissed off, I sent my clothes home because they can't make you... When did I do that? I sent my stuff home 2 weeks before I ETS'd.
Okay.
And they cannot make you work in civvies. You want me to work? You got to reissue me uniforms, sir.
No, they weren't going to do that. That's money.
Nope. What are they going to do to me? And we all
You're
used
already
to,
getting out.
What we would tell them was, what are you going to do to me? Send me to Nam?
Yeah, that's right.
They would fall us out. Now, I already had my stuff. They would fall us out and call certain names, my buddies. Who was getting awarded a Purple Heart, who was getting a Bronze Star, who was getting a Silver Star. They'd call them out. And, you got to picture these E7s, E8s, standing up there, like maybe with the company commander or at least, a couple of platoon leaders. And so-and-so, step forward. You've been awarded, blah, 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 blah. Uh-huh. And whoever it was that was awarded would look like this at us, like...
Oh,
and we'd
yeah.
all start laughing.
Yeah.
You stand attention. And he'd be laughing. You guys have blah, blah, blah.
At that point,
It was a joke.
Yeah.
It was a joke. Hey, you want them here?
Did you guys?
You don't have them.
Was there a bunch of you guys that all were ETSing at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Within days.
Yeah.
That's where I hooked up with a lot of California dudes, too.
Yeah.
So I made a lot of friends there. I was going to move there when I got out of the service. So I'd made enough friends. I liked it, and it was,
Yeah.
The drug culture, which was something that was new to me. I was willing to try anything,
Sure.
I'm a kid. I don't know anything.
You just turned 21.
20. Well, no, actually. I turned 21 October 5th. So 17, 18, 19, 20. No, I got out when I was 20.
Wow.
Yeah, 20 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're prime for California, whatever it was.
I wanted to play the hippy-dippy weatherman, whatever. I wasn't serious. But it was an experience. I'm sorry in a lot of aspects that I went through it, especially because of my health.
Sure.
But I'm happy that I went through it for other reasons. It woke me up to man's inhumanity to man, to injustice, how we view foreign nations and peoples, how we're so arrogant. It's just a matter of, I happen to be born here. I could have been born in Africa. I could have been born in Nam.
Yeah.
I was just lucky.
Yeah.
I was born here. So, yeah, I think everybody in this country has a silver spoon up their ass.
Comparably. Yeah.
Comparably?
Absolutely. The thing that will stick with me from talking with you is how you said that you and your friends came back clean. But not only did you come back clean, meaning you were honorable in some very
It's the one way.
inhumane times.
The one thing I will say about me and my friends, that's nothing. That's all man-made bullshit. It's decoration for the lifers. I can look at myself in the mirror
That's right.
and know who I am and know what I did under certain circumstances.
Yes.
I no longer have anything to prove to myself.
Of course, nor anybody else, because you've served your country. Whether they deserve that service or not, you volunteered your life to do it, and you put your life in jeopardy to live up to that ideal. And I think that's, there's nothing else like that.
Well, understand something now. Before you pin Medal of Honor on me, I had to do what they told me.
Of course.
I had to go where they told me to go. Whether I believed in it or I didn't, it was irrelevant.
I understand.
I had to go. So that's another thing I'll tell people. Well, you volunteered for NAM, didn't you? No, I didn't volunteer for NAM. You think I'm, my whole unit was volunteered for NAM. I got to go with them,
You volunteered for service to your country.
That's
the
right.
The country decided that you went to
That's
NAM.
correct.
And that's debatable whether that was the right thing to do or not.
Well-
but on a personal level, you served that government with honor.
Definitely.
So I'm going to take a picture of your shadow box. I know what you think of it, but I think it's good to capture, especially that belt buckle. That's such a fantastic belt buckle. That's the best thing you got in that box. Right there. That and your unit citation.
Well, my belt buckle and my CIB.
Yeah?
Those are the two best things in there.
Okay. Unit
Because the
citation on
CIB,
third.
CIB tells you that I was in combat.
Yes, it does.
So I didn't bullshit. I didn't come back with a whole lot of stories, or I'm not a wannabe.
Right.
So I don't walk around telling people, but if you ask me, I will tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Joe, I appreciate it. It's been a privilege to talk with you.
My pleasure.
This was certainly an honor for me to get Joe's story in this podcast. He was a real soldier and is a true American. It was a real privilege to speak with him today. Once again, thanks for listening to this episode of the Swearing In Podcast. So until next time, on your feet, fall out.